Welcome to MyStockScanner Live, powered by the 3-Point Playbook. This is where investing gets simpler. We scan the headlines, we break down the numbers, and we run today's stocks through the 3-Point Playbook, and we're going to explain what that means. We have 3 simple questions that guide our every pick. Is it a quality company? Does it have an upside? And is now the right time to buy? We hopefully can save you some time, make you easier to do the smarter choices, grow your money, and maybe even sleep peacefully at night. These 2 very well rested and fully awake gentlemen are Liam Flavel and Hans Henrik Nielsen. And first time viewers, well, we better tell who we are. Let's start with the reason why we are speaking English.
That would be you, Liam.
That would be my fault. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Danish is probably not that good. So so the English side for me to contribute on this, and hopefully on the tech side of things, I had a little bit of quality in there.
Yeah, because your background is that you're from fintech. That's where you have spent much of your youth. Not that you're old now, but much of your youth has been spent in fintech.
Are we bringing age into this now, are we?
No.
No. Okay. Yes. Most of my life has been. I've been a techie nerd. Looking at these things, I've been in fintech for 30 odd years, something like that. So it's a space I know well, and a space I enjoy playing in as well.
And then we have the guy in the middle right now, and he is the guy that's very much at the center of things, Hans Henrik Nielsen. Some of you guys probably know him from one of his many posts online. But Hans Henrik, your background.
Yeah, I've been trading stocks since 1987. I am older than the internet and cell phones. So I've been trading since I was 14 years old. It was a struggle back then. It's a lot easier now, but been through all the crises, made all the mistakes. That's what we are trying to teach people not to do now.
My name is Jesper Behrens, and my background is hosting radio and television, and I've lived 17 years in London and Los Angeles, where I'm creating content for all platforms. I'm gonna use some of my tricks and a little bit of the magic that I have here on this show, and then I get to ask the questions. So I have the easy role here, but you can ask questions as well from Hans Henrik and Liam. We have an email called FOMO@mystockscanner.com, and as some of you are definitely new viewers to our show. Today's show will be a little bit special because we are on all platforms. And that includes Aktiesnack as well. So I will say to our members that have seen our show before, we will get around to all the usual things. We will be talking stocks. We will bring up the 3-Point Playbook and much more on the show today. And it is the earnings season right now. We're going to shift from the US to Denmark because we're going to get numbers from Novo, Ørsted, Pandora, Vestas, Maersk, Torm, Genmab, and a lot of others. And also this week, we have a defense giant south of the border, Rheinmetall, are going to tell about their earnings, just like we had last week from Kongsberg. So we'll take a look at Rheinmetall today. And since it is Monday, we will have our usual feature, which is the 3-Point Playbook portfolio, a portfolio that follow our strategy and rules, and so far is up with a gain of 32.5%. And then another Monday feature is that we have number of the day. That number today is $144 billion. It's not my yearly salary, I can tell you that. You can try to guess what it is, and we'll tell you at the end of the show. And as said, we have a lot of first-time users, guys. So why don't we take them to the platform, MyStockScanner.com, and show them a little bit about what that site is all about and what you can find on there.
Yes. Let me just have it here. All right.
Yeah.
Liam.
Yeah, this is the homepage of MyStockScanner. The platform itself is a place where we have all the knowledge, all the information, all the data on somewhere around 80,000, 90,000 stocks. But the homepage is very simply centered around the forum. So one of the first things that you guys get and see on the platform is the information that we try and give to people. So here you can see every morning Hans Henrik will write the market scan, and that gives us a good overview of everything that's going on in the world from what we call a macroeconomic point of view. So that is looking at all the big news, things like interest rates, things like unemployment numbers and things like that, that actually as investors we need to have some sort of understanding on. We also have things like breaking news, as you can see here, where something on Friday happened that hasn't happened since 2008, which is not in itself a reason to panic sell everything, but it's enough to make us think, where's, are we going to hit problems at some stage? So that's one of the roles of the forum that we've got in there. And there's a huge amount of other information in there as well, on things like we produce a stock of the day, we produce various other bits of information like the state, the face off that we've got, just challenging between two different stocks. So that's the forum. Yeah.
And there's no doubt, Liam, that once you log in, it is a bit overwhelming. There's a lot of information, there's a lot of new tabs that you have to look into, but there's a rhyme and reason for everything that's on there, and there's a lot of help also to get on there.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of help, and so you've got the help center right at the top of the screen there, and every page allows you to access particular information on how to use the screen. We are going to get better. We are bringing in a chat bot that will actually help you out and point you in the right direction, and just give you some of the information we've got stored in this massive store that we've got in the background of all the information we've produced in the last couple of years.
But if we go back to the site on the left-hand side where you found the forum, we have watch lists and we have screeners, we have algos. Hans Henrik, introduce our new viewers to some of those tabs.
Many of them are a bit self-explanatory. For instance, watch list. When you surf around as much as we do, and many people do with stocks, you find a lot of interesting stocks, and that is where you can build as many watch lists as you want. But if you find some good value stocks or good momentum stocks, you can make all the watch lists so you can visit them on a regular basis. To find the good stocks, we have screeners. I'll not go into in depth with them now, but you can build your own screeners so you can find exactly the stocks you want to find. We have our portfolios where we have our own model portfolio that is doing very well this year, more than to 32% so far this year, that people can follow and learn from and see how we are doing stuff. We have some algos for people that wants to trade completely automatic. For some, it's more of a test to see what completely rules-based trading can be about. But I know some of our members are using it quite strict. We have some retirement calculators, and then we have a very important area, and that is our Learn section here, where we have all our courses. We have our technical analysis course, and especially this one, From Theory to Profit with 3-Point Playbook. I urge everyone to go in there and watch that, because that is a foundation of everything we do.
And as mentioned, and it is free, yeah. And then, as we mentioned, the thing is that you have a strategy, a way you play things that leads to the portfolio, the 3-Point Playbook portfolio. And Liam, if we look into what that portfolio is, I'm almost gonna play a little video, because one of the stocks that I know that we'd like to take a look at once in a while is Nvidia, the $5 trillion company. And if we take that through the 3-Point Playbook portfolio, or not portfolio, but the playbook, and tell what the playbook is, then that's a good start.
Yeah, it's a good start. And Nvidia, most people might have heard of it. It's a small company in the States that produces some sort of microchip that is revolutionizing the world at the moment. But and what we do, the 3-Point Playbook, is a method for selecting stocks that we think have a good chance of going up in value. And what it means is it gives us a framework to say that every decision we make is pretty much the same. We have to answer 3 different questions. And the first question here is Nvidia a quality company? And if we come down, our playbook tab actually gives us all the information that we need to actually make that decision. Green is good in this case, red is not particularly good. And we can see here The two initial questions that we look at is it a quality company? And we have a quality score, which is 0 to 100. 100 is the best. And NVIDIA hits that mark. It's the highest score you can get. So yes, it's very, very high quality. We also have other metrics here. So things like earnings per share, which is the amount of money that the company NVIDIA is going to make in the future, according to the analysts. So we can see here that historically it's been good. In the future, analysts really expect NVIDIA to motor. That's not a huge surprise to us in this case. It's NVIDIA. Everyone knows it's growing like crazy at the moment. Other areas we will go into in a little bit more depth as we go through in the next few weeks to show you guys, but these are all key bits of information that tell us, okay, is this a quality stock? And basically, if it's all in the green or most of it's in the green, then yes, that answers the first question. The reason we look at quality stocks is to focus on, actually, if something goes wrong, then actually we're probably pretty covered. It's not going to go down as far because they're high quality stocks. If something goes right, they'll probably go up further for exactly the same reason. Then the second point in the playbook is about, is the stock cheap or not? NVIDIA is quite expensive. You can see up here that the numbers are right up in the green level here, and you'll see this again and again and again in our value chart, where we have these different bands that say this stock is expensive, this stock is actually fairly cheap.
And the value bands, if we just take them quickly, they have different colors, and that also means that we look at them from a bull point of view, which means that's where the big growth is. Then we have the base, which is sort of what can everybody agree upon, and then we have the bear a little bit negative, and then the yellow one is the analysts.
Yes, yeah, and we always look to say, actually, we'll be lucky if we hit the bull case. Let's ignore that a little bit. That's just if the numbers really stack up. On the base, that's what we expect. The bear case is, in the worst case scenario, we think we'll only make 2.6%, but that's not a loss. And we always look for this bear case and the base case the base case to be about 2 or 3 times higher than the bear case. So it stacks the odds in our favor in the casino that is the investment game. And then lastly, is it a good time to buy? And at the moment, NVIDIA is a good time to buy. We've got greens in what we call our indicators, our MTI indicators, and most of the TPI indicators down here. And it's also above its moving averages. So for us, NVIDIA is a very, very strong stock.
And again, don't be afraid if you kind of get a little bit lost here. This is the method that we're going to go over and over and over. Every stock that we go through will go through this 3-point playbook. And the moving averages that you're talking about, there's 2 lines on this one. There's a green, that's the 50-day, and then there's the black one, which is the 200-day moving average. And we want to be above the 50-day average on a normal. Yeah. There's so many things that we really want to, do here in the first show, and we won't get around to all of it. One of the things that we had planned to do was to look at the seasonality, and we'll save that for, I'm not going to say a rainy day, because we're coming into November, so there'll be lots of rainy days here in Denmark, so don't worry. But November is a good month to invest in. It's called the seasonality, and we will look into that, as I said, in a coming show. But this week, we are looking forward to something else, and that is a slew of earnings from the bigger Danish companies. Last week we were looking at the Magnificent Seven. There was just one almost not amongst those last week. They're coming on the 17th of November. That's NVIDIA. But Hans Henrik and Liam, there's so many numbers coming this week. But you guys, you're going to sit on your hands, because one of the rules that you have, you don't buy into earnings. Why is that, Hans Henrik?
Yeah, first of all, we don't buy into earnings. That's completely right. That buying into earnings gives a lot of volatility, meaning a lot of spikes and drops, and especially these times when the market is a bit nervous. Another thing is that it's wrong to say we don't care about the earnings numbers themselves, because of course we do. We do like to see good numbers, but what we're looking more into other things. One is, how is the market reacting to the numbers? Because we can get a number that we think is fantastic, and then market drops. So it's not always that we can guess what the market will do, what the big guys actually expected. The other thing is, we are listening a lot to the so-called guidance. With all earnings, almost, there have been a couple of exceptions this year due to the tariff war and everything, but almost always we get a guidance, and that is the company saying what are we expecting. And that means, for instance, the Ørsted and Vestas that comes up this week, I will be listening to what are they saying about their expectations about the green tech market in US. We know Trump has not been too much in favor of that. He closed down some Ørsted projects and so on. So I'll be listening into that. What are they saying on that? And I will be listening to the Maersk guidance, because Maersk and a lot of the other marine shipping companies, they are very exposed to global shipping, global trade. So if they are saying we can see an uptick in trade, that tells me something about the international market. If they're saying harbors are completely dead in China, that tells me another thing. So this week I will be listening more to guidance.
And one of the things that you guys do so excellently is that you take those words and you analyze them as well and put them into sort of, what you put out in your articles and stuff like that. One of the stocks that I know so many people, including me, are invested in, and that's Novo. And they are also coming with numbers. And I know, Hans Henrik, we have been, I won't say rough, but let's just say we're not fans at the moment in regards to Novo, because you are talking something called head and shoulders with Novo, that there's a situation that is right now. Explain that to
Let me say,
other
first of
people than
all,
me.
I'm a fan of the company Novo, but right now I'm not a fan of buying Novo stocks, and that is two completely different things that people need to understand. Novo is a fantastic quality company, earnings is going up and everything. However, when we're looking at the charts, and as Liam said in the beginning, our third question is now the time to buy? And what we are looking at here, and it's a bit technical, but we are looking at the charts. First of all, our indicators are showing double red, meaning we're not allowed to buy this in our strategy. But this is also what is called a head and shoulder formation. And the other day, when it started to break down, we said our target here was down in the 280, 290s. Let's see if it gets down there. It doesn't always, but right now I would not touch Novo, even though I love the company.
And it looks cheap compared to where it's been, that's for sure. So it's one of those that we always will be talking about, we'll always get back to, and we'll try to advise as good as possible. This is not recommendations, this is advising what we are doing. And as said, this is a huge week for numbers in Denmark, and you've already been giving a little taste. We'll take them day by day as they come. Another thing that's coming up on this week is, of course, that we're going to go south of the border, and we are doing that with Rheinmetall. Last week we had Norway up with Kongsberg Group, and that didn't do too well, even though that it bumped back on Friday. Liam, Rheinmetall, different company, and they're not gonna do sort of sailing off with a maritime division as Kongsberg Group did. So what are we expecting for Rheinmetall this week?
Rheinmetall will be an interesting one. It's our members. We did a webinar in February, and the theme of that webinar was defence stocks overall. So we picked up very early on this trend in the market, where the EU, about a week after that webinar, suddenly said we're going to go and spend 2 trillion euros on defence going forward in the next few years. So Rheinmetall, Saab, companies like that have really benefited from the tailwinds that created for them. And you can see here in the demand on just our playbook page, the earnings per share, that last year was 14.81, and the analysts think that in a couple of years it's going to be up to 44. So that's almost 100% increase over 2 years. So we're looking at some good times for RHM, definitely. Rheinmetall, they're a good company. The problem they've got at the moment is constraints for actually producing the goods that they're supposed to be selling back into the EU. So they're currently trying to tool up their factories and gear up their factories so that they can produce this immense wall of tanks and operating machinery and the skilled labour that's going to support them and all of those sort of things. So we've had that initial rise in the stock. If we just look here this year, we got into Rheinmetall. We actually bought it in our 3-point playbook portfolio because it looked like such a no-brainer at the time, right down in the middle of February here. And I think it's our biggest gainer to date on the portfolio. I think we got about 176.
180.
180.
But you also stepped out of it.
We stepped out of it. We came out of it in around July because what we saw here. So from a technical point of view, yeah, the important thing is yes, we got into it at the right time, but did we get out of it at the right time as well? And we use some of our rules to actually tell us when to get out of the stock. When the stock dips below its 50-day moving average, that tends to be the biggest indication to us that we need to exit the stock. There are various others that we will go through over the next few weeks and just show everyone our tricks of, that we use to recognize when we need to exit. But that we came out around the end of July, something like that, and a lot of our members who'd followed the trades as well and actually had made a very good profit themselves said, actually, we're not sure about this, but the stock has been consolidating for exactly that reason. They've had that massive gain because everyone thinks they're going to make so much money, and they will over the next few years. But right now, they're trying to think, okay, how do we actually service that money that we this wall of money coming towards us?
There's no doubt that we will be talking more Rheinmetall over the week. We promised that right away. But
Yeah.
and since we're on that subject, you mentioned it was part of the 3-point playbook portfolio. And what we do on Mondays is that we open up that portfolio. We tell a little bit about how the standing is. We tell a little bit about the stocks that we sold and we bought during the week. The status of the 3-point playbook today, this morning, I said it at the start of the show, you guys are up 32.5%. And Hans Henrik, that's an impressive number compared to that. If you look at the indexes, they're not even close to this.
No.
To be honest.
First of all, 32.5% is insane. We got that big jump on the defense stocks, and what our strategy does is that it tends to pick up on trends that start running. We're not always in at the beginning. We weren't in on the beginning at the defense stocks, but we took a very big gain on that. That was fantastic. One stock that have been very good to us lately is First Solar, for instance. And First Solar, we got in the model portfolio down here. We are up something 45, 50 odd percent now on it. And as long as the trend keeps going, we stay in the stock. When we bought, and that is just to get back to, let's see here, to the value chart that Liam showed off before. This is actually more like it here. When we bought it, that was back here in August, and that was very cheap, measured in our price earning band here in our value graph. Again, we'll explain this in depth in all our live shows and all our webinars. So there's actually a lot of room, in our opinion, yet to go on this. Is this a buy? Well, that is completely up to people themselves to decide. But right now we are up 50%, and it could go up 30 to 100% more. We have no idea. However, it's not a prediction tool in that way.
But Liam and Hans Henrik, what you do really good is that you have a tendency to get out of stocks quickly that are dropping, and then you ride your horses, the good ones, for a little bit longer. But as you say, you never get in at the top, you don't get out of the bottom. It's going to happen somewhere in between, but you ride them as long as they are going up and they're in that trend. One of the stocks you picked up, and we're going to do this super short because we're coming towards the end of the show, we picked up Netcompany last week as one of the stocks, and that's been also a flyer straight off the bat.
Yeah, definitely. And again, we didn't know it would take off. We never know which of our stocks will take off, but this was a very good quality stock, and then it was at the very low end here, meaning this is the time where investors earlier have thought this would be really cheap. So we are trying to stack our odds, and right now I think we are up something 8-10% since Thursday, I think it was. So definitely we hope that we can get to the 50 to 120%. It could turn down tomorrow. It's all a math and a stat game for us, basically.
And one thing you get as a member of the 3-point or at MyStockScanner.com is that you get notifications when we go in and out of stocks. The 3-point playbook is something that we will do on the show every Monday. We have something every day. On Tuesdays, that's tomorrow, of course, we have the Tuesday poll. And this one is a little special. Normally we'll do some sort of voting on stocks, which stocks are popular in Sweden, Norway, and so forth. But tomorrow we'll do Warren Buffett quotes, because he's stepping down from Berkshire, one of the legendary investors in the world. Wednesday, we have the watch list. That's the result of the Tuesday poll. Thursday, Liam is up because he takes a keen eye to the tech stocks and will tell us all about it. And on Fridays, we have face off between two stocks. Before we go today, we have to tell what is the $144 billion number that I brought out in the beginning of the show. And that is, a matter of fact, Warren Buffett's money tank, so to say. And it doesn't make him, he doesn't even break top 10 with that kind of money. But he will retire today at Berkshire's convention with that in his tank. $144 billion. Number one in the world, of course, Elon Musk, a little bit more, 3 times that amount of money. But again, he's a legend. Your guys on him stepping down today, anything you will remember him for? Liam, I'll start with you. Anything that you're going to sort of think about the good Mr. Buffett?
So many things. Yeah, he's revolutionized investing over the last 50, 60 years, and has just been an inspiration for people who actually want to just invest safely. That's what we aspire to in the same way. So yeah, just an absolute inspiration, and his quotes are legendary.
They are indeed, and you will get to vote about them tomorrow. Hans Henrik, your thoughts on Warren Buffett?
I think one of the most important thing he has taught us is the importance of time, because what he had been doing is he had been investing since he was 25, and now he's 96. So a lot of the magic in investing is being in the market for 70 years.
Yeah. And I'm not sure that we will be that. I'm not sure the show will be on for 70 years. We'll try, but we'll definitely be on Wednesday. We'll be back on air, and we will tell you more. It's a big earnings week here in Europe, but we also have from some of the, I'm going to say, outliers. Berkshire is an outlier in that sense. There's no company like it, but also Palantir bring out numbers today, and that's going to be aftermarket as far as I remember. We have AMD tomorrow, Shopify, Uber, a lot of different things. As we mentioned, a lot of Danish stocks come out with numbers to stay, and the week is going to end with Amadeus and Daimler in Germany, Hensoldt in Germany, Cupra in Denmark. So there's all the more reasons to watch the show here. And remember, do ask us your question. We are very receptive. FOMO@mystockscanner.com. That's our email address. And that's it for today's MyStockScanner Live. Remember, every stock comes down to 3 questions. Liam said it, Hans Henrik said it: quality, upside, and timing. Save yourself some time, invest smarter, and sleep easy. Visit mystockscanner.com and put the playbook to work for you. And we'll be back on air on Wednesday at noon. In the meantime, happy investing. See you on Wednesday, guys.